This is our 5th annual West Point Leadership, Ethics, and Diversity in STEM workshop. And this year, for the first time, we're excited to add another component. We have added the aviation workshop to this program as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the entry of the official party and remain standing for the invocation by First Sergeant David Williams from Wingfield High School and the Pledge of Allegiance.
We stand before you right now, Lord, under the umbrella of gratefulness. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts to the depths of our soul that you would give us this opportunity to collaborate and bless this future.
Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm from West Point. I'm Cadet Han. Right now, we're with a great team. We're talking about ethics and how to develop as leaders.
One of the things that Colonel Paul Willis and I would try to do when I was at Jackson State is not only steer students from JPS to Jackson State, but also to the service academies. So we wanted Jackson State to understand that this is not all about West Point. It's not a recruiting opportunity for us. It's more information.
Our intent today is to inspire our scholars to reach their full potential, and we want them to do that while pursuing careers in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. This program today is a collaborative effort between Jackson Public Schools, Junior ROTC, Provine High School Academy of Aviation, and our sponsoring partner is Jackson State University, along with the U.S. Military Academy at West Point.
We will share with you a day in the life of what it is to be a cadet, not only at West Point, but we have our cadets here from Jackson State who will share that with you as well. And we're trying to partner with JSU to ensure that these kids have something to look forward to, which is college education, which is really what we're trying to steer our students to want to do.
Distinguished leaders, ladies and gentlemen, cadets and cadre of the U.S. Military Academy at West Point, Jackson State University, and Jackson Public Schools, scholars, athletes, and leaders, good morning. I am Cadet Colonel Brandon Wigley, Cadet Brigade Commander for Jackson Public Schools, Junior ROTC. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to our 5th annual West Point Leadership, Ethics, and Diversity in STEM workshop, and our 1st annual Aviation and Aerospace workshop. At this time, I'd like to introduce our Jackson Public Schools Director of Army Instruction, Colonel Retired Paul L. Willis.
Today is going to be a great day. It's going to be a wonderful day, and I thank all of you for being here. To my far right, we have Dr. Robert Blaine, Chief Administrative Officer for the City of Jackson, Dr. Linda Brown Wright, Provost of Jackson State University, Dr. Eric Green, Superintendent of Jackson Public Schools. A gentleman that many of our cadets know is Mr. Carlos Nelson. Stand and serve. Our keynote speaker for today is Lieutenant Colonel Adisa King. That's Miss Pat Locke. Pat is one of the key people that makes this event happen, not only for us, but for selected cities across the United States. Pat also has a foundation called Seeds of Humanity, and her foundation grants numerous scholarships to our Jackson Public School students.
The real thing is, we're trying to give away some money here today, about $2,500. So we want you to know how to compete well. So let me see if I can say this really quickly, okay? You're going to talk about leadership, all right? We're going to talk about competence, character, and commitment. What you're going to do today, in a real big hurry, you're going to have to organize yourself really fast, problem solve, and decision make. The whole purpose of this is so that you know how to make decisions, and you make them because you're going to make better choices in your whole entire life. That is what this is about, because as you make better choices in your life, your character gets better. Character, the sum of your good and bad habits. What's the definition of ethics? What I ought to do. If you can say those things, your cadet's going to go over that with you, so don't worry about it. All those things that you're supposed to know by the end of the day, I'm going to run around and see if you guys know it, all right? Because I'm going to give away the money.
I'm Cadet Primer. Today we're going to talk about ethics, we're going to talk about character, and we're also going to just have all the cadets just get to know each other, get familiar with each other, and we're going to just get their minds right for the future.
The most important group that's here today, they're our superstars, they're our future leaders, they're our best hope for the future, and we're proud to have all of our Jackson Public School, junior ROTC cadets, and scholars from Provine High School Aviation Academy, please stand up and let us see you. We do want to appreciate you all. This is the reason why we're here.
Before we really get into the book, we want to talk about what morals and what ethics are and what's the difference. Does anybody have any idea?
I mean, you don't have to be in law to practice ethics, but definitely law is a field where you will be presented opportunities to practice ethics.
And I want you to pay attention to these names and these people I'm going to call out. They are here from across the United States for you. They are here because they know you can do it. And they want to inspire you and encourage you and uplift you. The individual representing the office of Senator Roger Wicker and Congressman Michael Guest, Steve Guyton. Mr. Cedric Watkins represents Congressman Benny G. Thompson. Dr. Wilbur Walters, Dean of the Engineering Department at Jackson State University. We have Colonel Michael Stinnett, the National Director of Junior ROTC from Fort Knox, Kentucky. I'm claiming her as a native of Jackson, Mississippi because she's done so much for Jackson, but she is currently the G1 Human Resources Officer at the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. Colonel Jennifer Hicks McGowan. Ms. Ellen Peterson is the Deputy Director of Diversity and Inclusion at the Military Academy. Jackson City Council member for Ward 1. And he's also a member of the West Point Society of Mississippi, who helps to sponsor this event, Mr. Ashby Foote. Also, the president of the West Point Society of Mississippi. He's also a veteran. He's a business owner here in the Jackson area. We're proud to have Mr. Reggie Fullwood, Mr. Michael Sipp. He's also a representative from Senator Wicker and Congressman Michael Guest. And we're happy to have our visitors from the great state of Alabama who came here. And this gentleman is a member of the Alabama City Council, Mr. John Hilliard. Mr. Matt Brooks, he's another member of the team that helps to put this together. We have Lieutenant Elijah Talley. He's the Southwest Admissions Outreach Officer from the Military Academy. We have Mr. Jeffrey McDaniels, the Deputy Council Administrator from Birmingham, Alabama. We have Mr. Reuben Morris, who is the founder and CEO of the Alabama Aerospace and Aviation High School. Dr. Jerzy Lazinski, he's the Director of the Interdisciplinary Center for Nanotoxicity at Jackson State University. The Associate Director of the Jackson State University Center for Nanotoxicity, Dr. Shonda Allen, we're glad to have you here. Professor of Chemistry and Director of Jackson State University National Institute of Health and the RISE program, Dr. Blake Hill, sir. Ms. Charlotte Nettles, who is the Outreach Coordinator for Jackson State University. Mr. Edwin Butler, the State Director of Junior ROTC for the Mississippi Department of Education. Mr. Ben Minifield, who is the Vice President, Business Development, Black Ridge Health, Media Construction, and Education. Ms. Constance Garnett Houston, Senior Sales Manager, Canon North America. Ms. Constance, these are people who are working on your behalf every single day. These are the people who are here specifically for the aviation workshop that we've added to our event today. First, we have the Chief Commercial Officer for the largest aviation staffing company in the United States of America, Mr. Michael Lorenzini. We have the flight instructor from Delta State University. Delta State is the only university in Mississippi at the present time that has an aviation degree granting program. That's Mr. or Colonel retired Bradley McNeely. We have the Professor of Aerospace Studies at Jackson State University, Lieutenant Colonel Shanda Adams. Mr. Sam Washington, he's the President of the Arkansas Chapter of Black Pilots Association. Mr. Patrick Minor, the Jackson Municipal Airport Authority. He's working to develop a flight training program. We're calling it the 3 J's, Jackson Public Schools, Jackson State University, and Jackson Municipal Airport Authority. Mr. Michael Andrews from American Airlines, a product of Jackson Public Schools, Callaway High School, also Jackson State University, and he's a pilot for American Airlines. Ms. Jill Brown is Aviation Career Enrichment. She's also part of the Jackson Municipal Airport Authority. She is working with us. We have Mr. Anthony Todd Taylor from the U.S. Air Force Headquarters, and they have partnerships with universities across the United States. where they pay for high school students to go and get their flight training and their pilot's license. In addition to the leadership and ethics that we're going to be working on throughout today, we have essentially a small air show at the Jackson International Airport. We have F-18 fighter jet that flew in from Norfolk, Virginia.
Yeah, this is my plane. This is the one I flew down in with MC. This is the F-18 Foxtrot Super Hornet. It's the Navy's primary air-to-surface and air-to-air platform. So we can shoot air-to-air missiles and guns and also employ in the air-to-surface environment. We carry about 16,000 pounds of fuel. We can shoot the gun at 6,000 rounds per minute with about 450 rounds.
We have a U.S. Coast Guard rescue helicopter that flew in from New Orleans.
Once you are qualified, we have to pass a swim test every year and do some survival training stuff, and that's a part of that naval aviation thing that I talked about. Because we operate over the water, so we have to know some water survival stuff.
We also have a C-17 aircraft from the Mississippi Air National Guard. The C-17 is the largest cargo aircraft in the Air Force.
We move the camera around, and we can swap right here between cam and between our infrared, zoom, do all kinds of cool stuff right here.
And we have a couple of private-owned airplanes as well, all staged at the Jackson International Airport. So we're going to transport these aviation students to the airport so they can have hands-on engagement, not only with the aircraft, but with the crew, the pilot, the co-pilots, and all of the crew members, so these students can see that, yes, I can do this, and they will be excited and inspired to do it. And our bottom line, scholars and cadets, we're trying to inspire you toward STEM careers. There's not enough of us pursuing careers in STEM, but you can do it, and we want to inspire you toward that. This program is intended to help sustain the moral and ethical foundations necessary to increase the number of STEM competent leaders of character. That's the ethics and diversity piece, who will lead global organizations. So we have high expectations of you. The aviation component, which we added this year, is designed to increase awareness among our scholars of career opportunities in the field of aviation and allow scholars to engage with aviation professionals.
It is my pleasure to welcome you here on the behalf of our mayor, the Honorable Chokwe Antar Lumumba. I was reminded of a quote, and the quote, it was what my mother used to tell me all the time. She used to say, when the window of opportunity opens, don't pull down the shade. Sometimes fear jumps in and it causes us to close off. We pull down the shade. We say, I'm not going to try so hard for that because I don't know if I can do it or not. But what I want to tell you today is that today is one of those windows of opportunity. You have folks here from all over the country that are interested in you, in making opportunities for you, in creating something that would allow you to possibly have a different future than what you might have had. Open yourselves to all the opportunities, meet all the people that you can, take down somebody's number, get somebody's email address, contact them later on, and follow through.
Jackson State ROTC cadets, both Air Force and Army, along with cadets from the U.S. Military Academy at West Point, they have traveled here to engage our students and guide them through this day-long process.
So that's the thing that we want to do or we don't want to do, but then you got the law of it, which specifically tells us what we can and cannot do.
I'm Cadet Heather Hill. I'm from Jackson State University. I'm also from Gulfport, Mississippi, and I'm a business administration major, and I'm also in the Mississippi Army National Guard.
Hello, I'm Cadet Nelson, and we were just discussing the difference between kind of morals and ethics and the things that we ought to do and want to do and should do.
No matter if y'all come to the military or if you have a civilian job, you're going to take orders from somebody. Somebody's, now, whether they're yelling at you or not, that's the difference. But on the military side, once you get through your basic training and your AIT, you're back to being basically a civilian, but in a military uniform.
Let's get them. Come on, next forward. Let's go. Let's go, girls. Push. Come on, you got it. Parallel down there. You heard me? Come on.
So the cadets were asking me questions about, drill sergeants and the severity of basic training and how the process is. And I was explaining to them that it's all part of being built and being trained as a proficient soldier and being able to do your job and being able to take orders, especially in certain situations. They were wanting to compare the difference between being a civilian and actually being in the military. They wanted to know the difference between the Army National Guard, reserves, and active duty as well. And I was discussing with them how I'm in the Mississippi Army National Guard and the benefits of being that versus being active duty as well.
I would want you guys to come up with a set of like rules or characteristics of what you think ethics and morals are, so we can put it down on the board later.
I am pleased that Jackson State is hosting the West Point Leadership Ethics and Diversity Conference for the 5th year. As America focuses on strengthening the STEM workforce, I'm excited that you have expressed a desire to pursue a STEM career path and have demonstrated a desire to excel academically. Math and engineering skills are underlying tenets that will drive nearly all the technological advances we envision. You will transform education, how we teach, how we learn, how we innovate both individually and collectively. I know the training you have received and will continue to receive will help sustain the moral and ethical foundations necessary to help you become STEM competent leaders of character who will one day lead diverse and global organizations.
Oh, we were talking about what do they want to do after they graduate high school, if they want to continue in JROTC, ROTC, or if they want to switch branches or anything. These are future leaders of the world, and they're learning about ethics and how to properly make decisions when they get in those leadership positions.
First off, just my sincere, my deep, profound appreciation for all of the work, all of the resourcing, the funding, just all of the efforts that have gone into creating this conference. And as I reflect on my own experiences and the things that have helped me to achieve and grow and develop over time, over the years, I'm constantly thinking back to those opportunities that I had as a young person in high school and college and beyond. All of the adults, they had it in their hearts, and they had the wherewithal to pour in, to challenge, and to encourage me. It's very easy to, as a young person, to just kind of go through the motions. You meet people, maybe you enjoy the activities or the conversations, you might feel encouraged, and then you move on with life. I want to really encourage you young folks, all of you amazing young people here. There's so much for you to learn today and beyond. You've been encouraged to really dig in, lean in, listen, engage in conversations, avail yourselves to the learning. You've also been encouraged to actually meet folks, to network, to take some names and numbers and emails down and all of that sort of thing. But you also need to show up fully. It's also very important that they get to know who you are, because you bring something. You're not empty vessels. Young people, you didn't show up here with nothing. In fact, as I understand it, you are here because you were selected among the masses, because you have demonstrated some level of strength and leadership and capacity. So let's all together in this space, let's learn, let's grow, let's encourage. I do believe that we have a Nobel Peace Prize winner sitting amongst us. I do believe that more young people sitting amongst us will be developing apps that will help folks to meditate and to deal with personal challenges or to manage your money or whatever it might be. Someone here is going to invent something that makes you a millionaire. Somebody here is going to do that. Someone here is going to teach the next generation. All of those things are well within our grasp. And it is your duty to tap into that greatness and live out that greatness.
And now, representing the aviation community, our good friend, Mr. Carlos Nelson.
I live in Las Vegas, and my family's from Memphis. I grew up in the South, joined the Air Force, got a chance to see the world, started my own company, somebody said about being a millionaire, and I'm not here to brag. I was one of the kids in the back. We didn't have iPhones, but I wasn't really paying attention and I became a millionaire. And I'm not bragging, and don't y'all come ask me for no money after this. After having your own business, I sold it. I go back to Memphis. My sister's kids are in the hood, in the projects, and I decided to do something about it. I put them in a military school, and my nephew started excelling. He's at Morehouse now. And I saw these scholarships. I ran across probably about $100 million in scholarships. And the guy said, I can't find any kids. And I'm gonna do something unorthodox. I need everybody to get out of your seats and let's give Colonel Paul Willis a round of applause. I'm in Las Vegas and I see Jackson ROTC and 800 kids. I call his office and I asked him, I said, Colonel, I got these scholarships, can I work with you? Come on, Carlos, yeah, you can work with me. So far, just the Colonel and I and the JROTC and you kids here, I've done about 1.5 million, and I live in Vegas. Today, I'm gonna talk about aviations, airplanes, how to make some money, different ways to go about doing this, and go to the Army.
Spirit, energy, passion. That's what you guys are learning. That's what you bring to the table. Fight. A little bit of fight in that attitude. You got to bring it every day in academics. You got to bring it every day with everything you do, like you was talking about.
So do something that you really want to do. So that process is pretty easy. You take the ASVAB, you'll talk to a recruiter, and that recruiter can actually just guide you the rest of the way, okay?
There is a website called learningtest.com. It's through the Learning Express. All you need is a library card, and they have practice ASVAB tests on there, and it'll help you score. The better you score, the better chance and opportunity you give yourself. Give yourself 10 chances instead of just 5.
A STEM program, because learning to fly, right, is science. So for 8 weeks, the Air Force Junior ROTC will send you to a college campus all across the country to get your private pilot certification. You can go to college the summer after your 10th grade in high school. We've got kids doing it every summer for the last 3 summers. It can be you.
West Point graduate, Jim Hill High School graduate, Devario Marzetti.
Our keynote speaker this morning is Lieutenant Colonel Adiza King. He is a native of Jackson, Mississippi, and a graduate of St. Andrew's School in Madison, Mississippi, where he was a member of the varsity football team. He spent summers at Jackson State University participating in summer camps. His parents, Dr. Reverend Theophilus and Mary King, own and operate a family business, the Christian Mission Learning Center of West Capitol Street in Jackson, Mississippi. His father, Dr. Reverend Theophilus King, was also a longtime teacher and administrator within Jackson Public Schools. Lieutenant Colonel King is a graduate of the United States Military Academy at West Point, and he commissioned as an officer in the U.S. Army Infantry. He has completed multiple deployments in Iraq in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. Currently, Lieutenant Colonel King serves as a regimental tactical officer responsible for overall leadership development of over 1,000 cadets in 1st Regiment United States Corps Cadets, West Point. Please join me in welcoming Lieutenant Colonel King.
I'm very excited to be here, okay? After I graduated from West Point, graduated from St. Andrews, I went up to West Point. And I did have a tragic event because my brother went up there as well. And he was separated. Then I was separated out of West Point. That's what you don't read in the bio. Yes, I had a tragic event. When you get kicked out of West Point, it's a big deal. It's a real big deal because they gave my papers and said, I don't care if you play football, I don't care what you do, bye Craig. And I left. Yeah, I came back down to Jackson. I had a choice. Do I tell everybody what's going on? Do I tell everybody what happened? That's an ethical decision. Do I let them know? Or do I own up to it? What do you think I did? No, I didn't. I said, I ain't never. No, I didn't. I was like, oh yeah, so I'm on break. I'm on break. I'm on break. But what I did do, I did have to go and work. Work in concrete. Working my behind off. Then I had a chance to go work in the House of Representatives as a clerk. I went to Jackson State. I'm very proud. I went to Jackson State University. Signed up for the Untitled Chapter. Best thing about it, right, is that as I'm working, going to school, I thought I wanted to fly. But everyone said no. But it's okay. The best part I remember always is being humble and hungry. I had my catfish sandwich and my Welch's grape drink. $5.25 a day, baby. That's what I had, and I was good with it. Because again, money was tight, but I moved forward. That's what I'm about. So I did get back into West Point. I did finally graduate, and I'm thankful for that. Of all the opportunities that I had. So when I see people, and I see you around, young people, and when I see your heads down, okay, I get a little inspiration because I need to help you out a little bit, give you a little something, because I've been there before. And us as educators, you have to be aware of the students. You got to be aware they may not receive information like this. There's times with people that I have to do soft, talk soft, and then ask questions. Okay? Now, energy. The energy and how you remain focused. Whatever you are doing, whoever you are talking to, learn to put things down and be in that moment. In Iraq, at 09:30 in the morning, Samara, Iraq, I'm all excited. First deployment ever. Very excited. And I sit down with a young man. He's going to be my executive officer. That is like the second in command. You're sitting there talking to a person. You're excited about them. They're excited. You don't know what's next. They don't know what's next, but you just know that you're going to be working with them. At 9:30, we had a breakfast. At 11:30, boom! Done. He was gone. He was gone. Gone by a vehicle-borne IED. So you want to know why I get the energy? Why? Right now, what's important to me right now is you all. Because you never know. So therefore, I'm going to enjoy this moment. I'm going to enjoy every moment with you. So I encourage y'all, once we leave here, once you get out there, take a deep breath and be in that moment in that classroom. Be all with the people around you. Get around them, talk to them, ask them what's going on, ask who they are. Ask who they are, what's not. TT. Tactics, we call it tactics, techniques, and procedures. So not tactics. Those things that's real down to earth things that you got to do and I want you to think about. Remember who you are and who you are. Understand all these people that are over here, they're going to pour into you. They're going to invest into you. The school that you invest into. The school that's where you come from. Whenever someone gets in trouble, what happens? Right? They mention your name, where you're from, what school you went to, mom and them, everybody. So when you begin to have trouble, you got to make a decision. You better step back. Remember who you are and who you are. Because right now, that name comes out. Imagine what I just told you. When it came out, that I got kicked out, I was thinking about that. Of the family and the people that had invested in me. So as you go through all these processes, right, and try to do all the figure out the ethical dilemma, in my mind, once I figure it out, there's no dilemma. What are your principles that you live off of? Principles don't change when things are good or bad. I'll show you mine. Faith, service, sacrifice, patience, toughness, and love. Faith, service, sacrifice, patience, toughness, and love. And I talk to myself. When I'm not sure about something, I say, wait a minute, am I being patient right now? Nope, don't do it. Am I being loving right now? Nah, I'm not doing that. Don't care. Am I really sacrificing my time, or is it about me? Or is it about my people over here? No, I'm not doing it. I guarantee you all have pain and suffering and things that you have been through. Don't let it define you, let it refine you, okay? Last technique I want to tell you is this. Learn to shut up. That's us as educators. That's it. Learn to shut up. Hey, not only adults, not only students, but adults and everybody else, educators, you got to learn to shut up and get out of it sometimes the wrong way. Maybe I don't have the best idea. That's good. As long as you wear that, you're fine. I guarantee you.
These students can see that, yes, I can do this, and they will be excited and inspired to do it. So we're happy that we continue to get this great support to host this program for our scholars and our JROTC cadets in Jackson Public Schools.